The following is incredibly delicious. Your taste buds have been advised.
Bone broth. It's the latest craze. It's don't like what I did there. Redo. Go.
From the heart where flavor is forged, the man, the myth, the legend returns with another jaw-dropping recipe. Ladies and gentlemen, all those gathered, now we feast. And now your host, Big Mike the Chef2k. And we're back, still recovering from the Tyler Yahweh visit. And after all those Wagyu burgers, we're down to bones. So instead of feeding them to your dog, who, let's be honest, doesn't even appreciate marbling, try today's recipe instead.
Welcome back to the Chef2k's kitchen. Today, I'm gonna show you guys how I do my bone broth. It's the biggest craze right now, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do it ukataka. Bone broth is big right now, and I know why. It carries a lot of health benefits. You're getting that collagen out of this, you're getting a lot of vitamins and a lot of nutrients that your body needs. People are replacing it for their morning coffee. You're gonna get more energy out of a warm cup of bone broth in the morning than you are from that coffee, I promise you.
Trust me. The big guy with the beard is spitting facts, and today we show you how he does it, and how he does it the right way. Here's what you'll need to cook along today.
Really important when you're doing bone broth, get those vitamins in there, so get those vegetables in there. We got carrots, celery, onions, basic mirepoix. We're not gonna cut this down small, big chunks, throw them in the pot. We're gonna cook this for 12 hours. These bones, on the other hand, are something special. We got these bones from Brandt Lake Wagyu. My man Brandon down at the Brandt Lake Butcher Shop hooked us up with these. I know that they're gonna carry such an amazing flavor. This is technically gonna be a Wagyu beef broth. My buddy Jimmy down at Faux Daddy showed us his process. If you like broth, their pho stock is next to none. We're gonna take a few tricks out of Jimmy's book today, and that's gonna hopefully add a little kick to my stock that I've never had before. I can't wait to see how this tastes.
Let's begin. The first Jimmy secret? Burn shit.
We want to make them black, charred, halfway through. Woo, look at those bad boys. That's what we're looking for, according to my man Jimmy.
I'm choosing to trust this Jimmy he speaks of. To prep your onions, melt some beef tallow, or add oil if you must, though we don't recommend it. Paint your onions with the tallow, sprinkle a bit of salt and pepper, and boom, they're ready for the flamethrower.
Now we're gonna prep up our vegetables. We've got all these beautiful fresh herbs. We're gonna put those in some cheesecloth, tie it up. We've got some butcher's twine here, and just set that in there. Let's get it. You don't need to do this small. We're just looking for chunks.
That's the same thing I tell my weed guy.
Throw it in there. We're gonna toss it with some beef tallow, some seasoning, and then we're gonna get it in the oven to roast. We want caramelization on all of our vegetables, on our bones, everything. That's what really is gonna set this stock off.
That's right, amping stocks like a Reddit post. In our recipe, we're using approximately 9 carrots, just like my pinky ring. Next up, a whole bunch of celery, the only vegetable that burns more calories to chew than it gives back.
Celery obviously is a big thing in beef stock. It gives it that nice peppery flavor. Celery has a lot of flavor in it. We're gonna do a few different things. So we're making a stock here. I'm not gonna make a beef stock to make a demi-glaze. I'm not making a beef stock to make a beef gravy. I am making a bone broth for somebody to drink in the mornings, in the afternoons. Put a little vegetables in it, make yourself a real quick little soup with it. So we're going for maximum flavor on this, but we're also gonna try to get as much vitamins and stuff as we can in there, because we want all that antioxidants, all the stuff, all the good stuff we can get in there. So I am gonna throw a big chunk of ginger in there. Ginger is not something I normally would do if I'm throwing in a beef stock, as I said before, for like a beef demi-glaze or something. But for this, I think it adds a lovely touch. Ginger's got a lot of health benefits in it. Let's get it in the party. We've got some leek here. A bunch of garlic. Garlic's amazing. So we're gonna get this whole bulb in there.
Next, we peel and super smash bros our beautiful Alberta grown garlic. Shop local, smash global. You know what it is, player.
Okay, now we've got all of our veg except for our onions. We've already done our onions. They got caramelized on the grill. They're gonna go into the pot just like that. So now we're just gonna get some of that beautiful beef tallow we've rendered down. As we said, we're going away from the seed oil for a while. Honestly, I like the taste of beef tallow way better than I like olive oil. Fresh cracked pepper. We're gonna hit it with that salt. Salt, everybody hates on salt. Salt, too much salt, too much this, too much that. Of course, salt is not the greatest thing for you when you're using iodized salt. When you're using a real sea salt, like I'm using a pink Himalayan sea salt, salt is a definite factor in keeping you alive. You need it in moderation. Salt is a necessity. Use the right sea salts and use them sparingly when needed. This is getting roasted and all that, right? All right, that's ready to go. We're gonna throw it into the sheet. Now we're gonna get our bones ready. We got the big boy here. These bones are big. It's gonna take us a while to cook everything that we want out of these bones, but we're gonna roast them good.
Mike adds his Brandt Lake Wagyu bones. 3 to 4 pounds of bones per gallon of water should do the trick.
Same thing, we're gonna get that beef tallow on. Dump it in there. Salt, pepper.
Add about 17 cracks of fresh pepper, followed by a palm's worth of the good salt. 1 for the bowl, 1 for the homies. Now toss it all around like it insulted your mother.
We want that beef tallow all over the bones. It's gonna help in the browning.
Each clang of bone on metal is a note in Mike's symphony of flavor. It's less Mozart, more meat thunder. Add your melted beef tallow to a large roast pan.
Beef tallow. All right, we got that tallow on the bottom. Now we're gonna get these bones in there. Put that marrow right down.
Now drop your bones into that glorious puddle of tallow at the bottom of your roasting pan. Make sure they're soaking up what you're putting down. And now it's time to wash your hands. Some of us learned this as kids, others during a global pandemic. However you got here, just make sure you do it.
And we're gonna take these, we're gonna put them in their own pan. We don't wanna overcrowd the bones, we don't wanna overcrowd the vegetable. We wanna get a good roast, a good caramelization on all of this stuff. So, don't overcrowd your pans. All right, we've got a little bit of cheesecloth here. I like to take the fresh herbs when I'm doing a bone broth. I like to tie them up in cheesecloth and then put them in kind of like a tea bag. And then I can tell, because they cooks for a long time, and if it's drawing too much out of the herbs, too much of the rosemary is gonna get in there, I'll be able to tell through the process. We've got thyme, rosemary, and sage. This is a poultry mix. I like it. It goes good with beef as well. So that's the combination we're gonna use. Don't go overpowering it with the rosemary. The rosemary will really kick off that flavor into the stock. Too much, it's gonna start tasting like it's a pine tree stock.
Oh wow, look at you with the jokes. I guess I'll just quietly narrate while you steal my thunder.
Okay, this simple. Just gonna fold the sides over, boom, boom. We're gonna fold that over and just roll it up nice and tight like a doobie. Grab a little bit of butcher's twine. You don't need a lot. That's a stubborn little fella right there.
Gather the corners together to form a pouch, then wrap the butcher's twine around the neck of the bundle. Finish with a tight double knot to keep everything secure during the simmer.
Everything's ready to go. Next step is we need to get those vegetables and those bones into the oven. We need to roast these for a while. Get that caramelization on the bones, and then we're gonna add our tomato paste. Let that tomato paste caramelize. Then we're gonna deglaze, get everything in a pot, go from there. So the next step, inside the house to the oven. Unfortunately, the oven that we have here in the Chef2k kitchen cannot accommodate such large pans. So we're gonna move into the house real quick and get these roasting. Then we'll come up here and finish the stock right here in the Chef2k kitchen, in the pot, in the pit pot, suck it. All right, we're inside, we're at the kitchen. We're gonna get these bones into the oven to roast. Right now, we've got the oven set on convection roast at 450 degrees. We're gonna give this about 35 minutes, check on it, and see if it's ready for the tomato paste.
After finding an oven big enough to hold this flavor, the time has finally come to roast our creations. Lay your pans on separate racks and set your heat.
Set it so you can forget it and not forget it. Does that make sense? Okay, let's check this out. We've had this in for 30 minutes. The vegetables are definitely getting a nice caramelization on them. Check that out. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, we're just gonna give these a mix and then we'll give them a bit more before we add the tomato paste, just so we can get some more of that char up onto these vegetables, the carrots and stuff. It smells amazing so far. All right, we're getting closer on these as well. I think we need about 10 more minutes and then they'll be ready. Yeah, they're starting to get it.
Flip your bones halfway through to ensure a thorough roast. Always keeping an eye on their color.
We're gonna have to put those back in. We want a bit more browning on them. Okay, I think our veggies are ready. Let's check. Yeah, they're ready. Next step is the tomato paste. So we'll use half on the veggies and we'll use the rest on the beef bones. I'm just gonna mix this in. Any little bits that burn to the bottom are okay because we're gonna deglaze those off with a little red wine before it goes into the pot. I'm not sure everyone uses red wine. It's a standard for me when I'm making a bone broth. We cook the alcohol out, doesn't leave anything bad. Okay, back into the oven until that tomato paste starts to caramelize. Let's pull out these bones, same thing. We're just gonna wipe a little bit of that tomato sauce on them just to let it caramelize. That's hot. There we go.
Now paint those beauties with paste, leaving no bone untouched.
Nice coating on these bones. Okay, now these are gonna go back in. We're gonna caramelize all that tomato paste to the bones nicely. All right, we're gonna crank the heat on this to help with the deglazing process, and we wanna cook that alcohol out before it goes into the stock pot. Here we go.
Add about a quarter bottle of red wine to your very roasted vegetables. And if you've had a long day, go ahead and give yourself a splash
get that
too.
flat spoon in there. Scrape all the little bits off that have caramelized to the pan. Very important, that's why we're doing this. We're gonna cook this down until the alcohol smell is gone. We're gonna reduce this nicely. We're almost there. Then this will go into the pot. And we're gonna do the same step with the bones. They're going into the pot, onions in the pot, water in the pot, and then we just cook it 12, 13 hours.
Drop your veggies in the pot, scraping out every last bit of flavor. We want you healthy and nourished. Then do it all over again with the bones, repeating the exact same steps. Listen to that sizzle. A little wine for the flavor, a little wine for me.
Yep.
Now drop those perfectly roasted bones into the same pot as your vegetables. It's time the two worlds collide.
Just making sure I get all that caramelized tomato paste off into this drippings, into this wine. Now we've got all the bones in here. Boom. All right, just get in there with that flat wooden spoon. Make sure you get all the bits off of the bottom and into this sauce. That's all flavor that we've been building up in the oven over the last 45 minutes. Spat down and make sure we get it all
Look at
down.
that liquid gold. So valuable we can't waste a drop. So spat till the well runs dry.
Jimmy's onions.
Ah yes, the secret weapon.
All right, now over to the sink.
While Mike battles the sun,
Cold water.
he adds water, which is not surprisingly a key ingredient of broth.
All right, we've got everything in there except for the last piece of the puzzle. We've got our sachet right there, rolled up nice and tight. Find a good place. There's not a lot of room in that pot. Just like a tea bag. Just get it wet and let it do its thing. All right, we got it up to a boil. Now we've dropped the heat down to the lowest setting and we're gonna simmer this for 12 hours. That's gonna get everything we want out of those bones.
The time has come to let our glorious broth simmer, marrying all that hard work and flavor into one incredible tasting, incredibly healing elixir. Basically broth with a cape.
All right, guys, it's a brand new day. The stock has been sitting on this burner overnight. We got about 13, maybe 14 hours of cook on this, and it's ready to be strained and tasted. Okay, we're just gonna get everything out. We're gonna strain this off through a fine strainer. Some people will run it through coffee filters, even cheesecloth. I don't really feel like I need to do that. I have a pretty fine strainer here. We'll just go in before we strain it and get all these big bones out. They're heavy. Wagyu bone broth, baby. Final steps, let's run this through our strainer. Now we're using a very fine wired strainer. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do something. Filter it with coffee filters, use cheesecloth, something.
Time to separate our creation so it goes down easy.
Just grab a spoon, go in there, and just stir against the bottom. You'll see that's emptying out real fast. It's not bad to just press out all these carrots, get some of that extra flavor out.
No flavor left behind. Every ingredient pulling its weight with one goal in mind: make you feel good. Once the broth is strained, lightly stir and check yourself out in its reflection. Always remember, in the 2K kitchen, the eyes eat first.
Okay guys, we have arrived at my favorite part of the show. We're gonna get to tasting this. Now, a few things. We've got our stock strained off. It's ready to go into the fridge, cool it off. A tip that I have for you when you're doing stock like this is get it in the fridge, let it cool overnight. When you get back to it the next day, you're gonna see all the fat and stuff has risen to the top and it's hardened. It's formed a hardened layer. You can literally reach in there and break it off and throw it out. You don't need all the grease that's gonna be in there. You don't need to get rid of all of it, but I recommend getting rid of about 3/4 of it for sure. It's morning time. I just woke up, so I decided to skip my cup of coffee this morning and get straight into this. Ooh, it's beautiful.
Lightly stir and serve yourself a warm cup of healing.
It's still very, very hot, so I'm gonna have to blow on it a few times.
Lightly blow for a cool sip.
All right.
This isn't a Nintendo cartridge. Go easy on it.
Wow. That's definitely some of the best bone broth I've ever made. That's the first time I've ever been able to use Wagyu bone broth.
Flawless victory now, time for seconds.
Okay guys, thank you for following along on another adventure. Today we did Wagyu bone broth. This is something healthy for the whole family. A great way to start your day. Please try it out and let us know how it turns out. If you guys are not subscribers to this page, please help us out. Hit that subscribe button and that bell notification in the corner so you don't miss any of our delicious updates.
And so concludes another journey into the heart of flavor. A place where spoons are swords and onions make grown chefs cry. As always, we hope you learned more than you burned, and that you're ready to feast like the kitchen warrior you are. Until next time, stay saucy, stay curious, and for the love of broth, don't forget to taste as you go.
Ooh, it's beautiful.